Good morning, MetaFam and Decentralized TV. Today is Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. We are joined by Greg in the studio.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
How are you doing? How was your overnight, Monday to Tuesday?
It was good. It was good.
I know you did a bit of research also, which we're going to share with the community out there. Of course, we have our lovely Tamp engaging with us, and we'll get everyone running. How's your Tuesday morning? What's going on over there? You're still in Texas, right, Tamp?
Still in Austin, yes. Oh, we got some echo. Or is that on me? Still in Austin, feeling a little bit better. The cedar out here has got me tore up, but we're doing better today. Excited.
Nice. Welcome aboard. So let's look at how Bitcoin woke up today. So we've seen it dropped out of the channel. We're building up the bear flag. We're coming to. So now it's trying to find its footing. Where will it go? It could either pump right back up as usual or continue to drop down. We will watch this. And as we have seen also a lot of times, or in this bounce we've seen, Ethereum kind of lead the way forward, and this is where it's they're at now. Now, in these market conditions, is it best to buy in a specific point, or should we expand out into? How would you invest in any market condition, Greg? Oh, look, PeterBot's in there. Dude, is PeterBot real?
He's not real.
No
way.
All right, let's find out.
No way.
What's up?
What?
Oh, scheiße.
These are
We got a special guest today.
What's up, guys?
Everyone,
how are you guys doing today? I see you guys are talking about the Bitcoin charts this morning. What's the story, Morning Glory?
So we got. So the big question right now that we're posting out there is, how do you enter the market when you really don't know where it's going to go at this moment? And by the way, we have Keith saying good morning. Keith, he is one of our MetaFi family members at the facility, one of the builders out there. Good morning.
Good morning.
Here's what's the best way. How do you get into crypto? Great.
If we look at these charts, let's go back to the chart real quick.
Yes.
I'm curious about this chart because what's interesting to note here is that we've talked about kind of the cycles, and if you were to take a simple look at this, Jaime, where would you say that we're going to be going in the next week and into September? Do you think some people might know?
Yes. Okay. So if you want to look holistically, you have to back out to the annual or to the grand view of things. So let me load that out. This chart we're about to take a look at is actually not created by me, but by DLE27 in TradingView. But it gives you an entire view.
What is TradingView? What is this thing that you're using?
TradingView is a tool set that allows you to see where the charts are, where the price action is, all these lines. And by the way, if you guys really want to learn the basics of all this, go to our channel, you look at the playlist, and we have the B90X, which Peter created back in the decentralized OG days to guide us through the entire process of crypto adoption besides trading. So he mentions these tool sets in there and guides you through the basics of it.
So anyone that wants to look at the price action of what's going on in cryptocurrency, you would suggest go to tradingview.com. Is that correct?
Yes, it requires subscription, but you also have CoinMarketCap. There's one you've always used, Peter, in the past that was public viewable.
TradingView does have quite a few free options. I use the free version, so you can do some basics there for sure. Just to
I'm just wondering because I saw you clicking up some of these kind of pre-rendered graphs of sorts here, Jaime. I'm wondering, does MetaFi have a TradingView account with multiple templates that would be easy for people to click on and be able to see what we're seeing?
Yes, they're here. I'll see how to make it public. So you know what, Peter? I love these tasks. Make
Always working.
by the way,
I just ask questions. I don't tell anybody to do anything. I'm just asking questions. I
right.
just think it would be really easy to be able to say, hey, MetaFam, we're going over, you know, Bitcoin, and we're going over our Ethereum, and here are the links that matter. Here are the things if you want to walk along with us, right? And so I think it'd be great to have MetaFi be able to provide some of these types of templates, so that it'd be easy for newbies and green beans and anyone trying to get into the cryptocurrency game and in the Bitcoin game can kind of follow along with us in an easy way. So I think that'd be really, really, really cool.
I love it, Peter. And we will post these on our Discord. So everyone join us. I put our Discord link up at the top of this chat where the real Peter started communicating with us.
You can call me PeterBot. That's fine. I'll take it. So if we're looking out, the question still stands, right? We're looking out till we're in August. We're at the end of August. People are seeing, and I'm getting a lot of feedback on social and all over the place around, okay, so Peter, you called the bottom before. It seemed a little bit preemptive. You know, are we still hovering around the bottom? Because Peter, we've heard you say some stuff around October, November, in which we probably might see another rug pull. What is it looking like from your side?
So I'm glad you asked, Peter. And by the way, we didn't set this up, audience. So this chart is really powerful because it gives you Bitcoin's price action ever since inception. And what triggers these bull runs, usually you'll see them begin at the halving. And by the way, here's when I publish this, you're going to see a treat down here too. Here's where Peter made his first Bitcoin purchase historically. You guys will be able to see this down the road. Look at his timing.
Look at that. You even have the milestone of when I bought. Is it
absolutely?
Let me zoom in on that.
Yes, sir.
Is it November 10th?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Shit.
Dude.
History is it's true. History is there.
And look at Peter's timing. By the way, uncannily, we are in the time frame repeated. Look how many cycles Peter and company has been through. So
all of us have been through this.
Yes.
Not just me.
Absolutely.
Everybody sitting on stream has been through this.
And look at
So
the
am I
timing.
too late to Bitcoin? No.
No, it is
no,
not.
The answer is no. You are not too late.
But the first bear market was around April 18th, 2011. It began. It's when, and these are guidelines. These price action will never follow precisely, but these are medians. And we usually tend to come back to the median points. So before we got to the first halving, which occurred in 2012, here's what Peter purchased. And then we had this stabilization period. So the bear market lasted until about February 2012. Peter bought at this point, which was in the midst of it.
You know what's so fascinating as we look at this macro view out is that and this is, it's obvious now, but it wasn't so obvious back in 2007, back in 2016, 2017. But what's really fascinating here is that my intrigue into this digital currency called Bitcoin really was because of the loss of value of this digital idea. And so fortunately for me, I didn't ride any hype train. The first news that I heard about Bitcoin was this digital asset, this digital code that had lost extreme amounts of value. And so I can praise the stars that kind of my first beginnings into cryptocurrency was not riding the FOMO wave up or not riding the emotional wave up and buying the top, but rather I was ignorant of all that. And my first comings into Bitcoin really was at the bottom of sorts of this. And so that is a great segue into kind of what we're talking about, and said, hey, is it still good? It's still good time. We're at the bottom of this fourth cycle now. Yeah. And so technically now is the best time. And you guys have maybe seen some other videos that I've posted about this on my personal YouTube channel and these types of things. But man, like Peter, when everyone's dying and blood's in the street.
Yes. And look at the time you bought though. There was a drop, a massive drop. It doesn't look too good here. I will make this more visible, but there was a massive drop where everyone thought, okay, this is capitulation. This is the end, tail end. You bought slightly at the next downturn to finally hit the bottom of the bear market. And then we started the climb up.
And
Now,
that really was a
moving.
function of fortunate timing, because it was in October that I learned about this depreciating depreciating code base, essentially. And it took me a month to dive into it. So really, it really was just natural timing that took me a month to study this thing and be like, okay, this thing is awesome.
Now
So,
let's move forward to today. Look where we're at. We had this capitulation where everyone's talking about, hey, we have it. We're kind of in a recovery, but now it seems to be turning back down. The bottom of this channel, which Bitcoin has respected throughout its history, and this is an S growth curve. And Peter, you've covered this on the Chasm video and a few others. If just look at the channels here, look for the Chasm, and you will see his coverage on this. But my opinion, since you were asking, the bear market should not end, or the timing of it, the general timing isn't over until around November 28th. And then Bitcoin starts finding its footing, which is this gray period, until the halving on March 2024. Does that mean we stay down in the bottom? No. Look at the trend. It's a growth curve. So the trend, once we hit this bottom or near this bottom, we can wick below. So if you guys ever see it wick below, don't panic. It happened back here in the past. So don't panic. This is the time to buy. But we are at this point.
and we're gonna see oscillations. Like if I was the crypto lord of all, and I were to impress my hand upon the future of Bitcoin, what I would love to see is an oscillation of Bitcoin as we're still going through this kind of discovery period again, and kind of resetting of expectations in the market, where I would expect to see an oscillation of Bitcoin on the upward trend, but still oscillating.
Yes.
Or I guess this way.
The other one, the first one you did was correct. Yeah.
So oscillating up this way,
Yes.
all the way into the end of November. And remember, it will continue to oscillate upwards from a general pattern standpoint all the way to halving. And that, with halving, we'll see, as you can see from history, halving is when the rocket boosters get put back on.
Absolutely.
And so none of this is financial advice. We're just a bunch of chuckleheads. We don't know what we're talking about ever. However, we have survived in the Bitcoin world for a decade now, and we understand these generalized patterns. So again, no pressure here to everyone out there, but dadgummit, is now the time to buy, Jaime? What you say?
We're about
Close.
to segue very, very close. Like
Yeah.
dollar cost averaging.
Define buy, Peter.
Yeah, well,
Are you talking about
here's the thing, Greg.
Are you
I
talking
don't
about
have-
rocket ship buy, or are you talking about a steady buy?
Well, Greg, I don't have $25,000 to buy a beat, and I would love to be able to buy a beat. And so I don't understand how
Perfect.
people can get into Bitcoin because it's like 20 grand. So how is that possible?
So 2 steps, and I'll segue into
Yep.
your methodology.
Yes.
So the bottom of this channel today stands eerily at the same level as the monthly when Bitcoin was on the run up. So it converges. It all converges around 13,888, which I have marked in deep green right here. So for you guys who have been practicing Greg's methodology, which he's about to cover, which is dollar cost averaging, now's the time to buy. But you can buy it in 1/6 or dollar cost average in. You will win either direction. I'll be honest, not financial advice. I have buys scattered all the way down to this area, and with a couple of Hail Marys right below, which usually you'll see wick downs, but that's catching a knife, and that is not a healthy habit. So I'll carry that on my own. Now, Greg, the way this is the best way to enter. Go ahead. You have the floor, sir.
All right. So dollar cost averaging, we talked about it last week a few times. We spoke outside of the stream and decided that we wanted to try to explain it to make sure if we got any green beans or newbies on that they understand exactly what we're talking about. This chart that's up right now, is saying you have $3,000 to invest, and you can choose it to invest all at once. So if you bought it right now, it says you got 1,500 units, right? Based on the cost of whatever this make-believe unit is. That's your one-time buy. That's what it is. That's what you got. Now, if you take that same $3,000 that you want to invest and you do it as an average across time, you're going to hit the highs and lows in the market. You're going to be more established. You'll eventually get to one of your units, one Bitcoin, one whatever, one ETH, whatever you're doing, right? The best way is, like for me, is looking at my budget and saying, you know what, I cannot eat out a couple more times. So this month I got $50 to invest. And so, 50 divided by 4. Okay, cool. I got $12.50 a week. And I just set a day and I'm going to go and buy Bitcoin every week, whatever $12.50 can get me. At the end of the day, you normally end up with more units because you're playing the highs and the lows all at the same time.
It works
so you
out.
can buy just a little bit of a Bitcoin. You don't have to buy one whole Bitcoin for $24,000.
You can set the whole Bitcoin as a goal, but the way you enter the market is of less risk. The way Greg is showing us is, and you can see the outcome here where if I bought today at today's price, let's say $25,000, I'd get 1,500 units. Let's pretend we at 25,000, I'd get 1,500 total. Versus if I dollar cost average by buying these highs and then the lows wherever we're going, in this instance, it gave us 2,000 units versus the 1,500 units. So it's a very powerful tool to enter any market besides Bitcoin, any market whenever you're investing, and you're not mortgaging your house or risking your well-being in this.
I think what's really powerful also about DCAing or dollar cost averaging is it creates a forcing mechanism in your lifestyle to discipline yourself around investing and to begin, especially if you're a little bit aggressive, because I've talked with many people who've begun DCAing on their own. People who are DCAing a little bit aggressively, it even is a better forcing mechanism to change your lifestyle and to remove those extra coffees, remove those extra, snack expenses, remove some of the stuff that just is unnecessary for living and for comfort and for life. And so I love this because I love the entire idea of dollar cost averaging because it gets your mind in a game of there is future that is valuable. There is a future that I want to account for. There's a future that I want to de-risk. If I have kids, I have a spouse, I have family, like this is the digital economy of the future. This is the digital monetary policy and monetary systems of the future. This is the digital asset, marketplaces that are going to be created of the future. And do I, as a parent, do I, as a responsible adult, and I'm actually appealing to moral grounding here. If we want to be ethical, moral adults, I would say ethical adults, moral adults, forward-thinking adults get into these types of things like digital currency smartly, safely, with discipline, so that you can earn as the future grows and de-risk some of your future, as well as provide, if you have kids. I get passionate about this stuff, but provide for the kids' future. We have to start thinking about the next generation. We have to start thinking about how we today can have the discipline to invest in the future, and especially our kids, if we have any. So I think DCAing brings out a multitude of lifestyle benefits. And maybe it's just because I feel like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I just feel like the overall population of the world today is just not disciplined for any financial planning or just financial planning at all. So correct me if
too much instant gratification.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants it to be like Burger King, right? You can have it your way now. It's like, well, not really. Not everything works like that. There's deferred and delayed gratification, which is actually one of the best feelings in the world, when you've delayed it for so long and then you explode in your podgies.
Yes.
When it works.
But see, That's FOMO. That's FUD. DCA does not care about fear of missing out, FOMO. It does not care about fear, uncertainty, or doubt. DCA goes and sails the rough seas and the calm seas financially.
Yep.
So it
So
is less risk to us all.
like a very stoic approach to investing, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You want to know what's so cool about this is that, we started off with Peter, who, a lot of people might think he's overly smart, super coder, knows all this stuff that no one else knows. And he got into Bitcoin at the very bottom, like when it was still single digits. That ship has sailed for me. Well, it's funny because that might all be true, but I am just a normal person with no computer coding background, anything like that. And he said that he heard about a digital currency. He researched it for about a month and then decided to buy it. Guess what happened to me when Bitcoin was around the $1,000 mark? Just a normal person. I heard about Bitcoin on a cruise. I went home, opened up YouTube, and started learning about Bitcoin. It took me just about a month, maybe 3 weeks, after my own research as a normal person to say, you know what? I think I'm going to buy a little bit of this. And then at that point, when I said, I'm not ready to spend $1,000 on it, but I learned I could spend $100 on it and buy a portion of a whole coin. So I just bought that. And then a couple days later, I was jazzed up even more. I'm going to buy another $100. A week later, I'm going to buy $50. I didn't even know I was dollar cost averaging at that point. That is what I did unintentionally. But then you add the spice that Peter just talked about of discipline. Now, instead of just randomly throwing money at Bitcoin when I was excited about it, I researched and figured out, I think Sunday is a good day for Bitcoin. I learned that Bitcoin kind of has a weekend shenanigans where it goes a little crazy, and it tends to fall on Sundays before the weekdays ramp it back up. So I, again, not knowing anything about computers, chose Sunday and chose to put $50 into Bitcoin every single Sunday. Now I have the disciplined aspect about something I was becoming passionate about the more I learned about the beat, right? So you dollar cost average, all of a sudden you're into it. You don't have to be a super coder. You don't have to know something that no one else knows. And you don't have to get in when it's $2 or $5 or $10 or $1,000. It's all relative. If it goes up on average 200% annually, then it doesn't matter if you got in at $2, $1,600, or $16,000. Just get in, and proportionately, your investment should rise like it has historically proven it will do.
Well, 180,000% since 2009, to be precise. Actually, if I was looking at it earlier, I think it was 182,000% since 2009. So still, and we're still 20. I think we're still like 26% up year over year.
Probably nothing. Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. But I appreciate Tamp saying bifurcating the normality of regular people and me. But at the same time, I can appreciate the discipline that she took. And Tamp's also an operator. She's an entrepreneur, so she already has the discipline. So take that into consideration. But what I love about this is that we're all shilling this thing called Bitcoin, and it's okay to do, because Bitcoin is not a security; it's an asset. It is something that you should own as a mechanism to de-risk your future, to balance your portfolio, and as a forcing mechanism to learn the new digital currencies and digital economy of the future. So there was a great question in the chat. I want to answer this.
That's what
David Perlmutter. He says, how do you think Bitcoin and cryptocurrency will be effective if government implements digital currency? Well, I would hearken you over to Japan's recent regulatory review and analysis on CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Please look up Japan's latest analysis and summary of CBDCs, and Japan said that we are not going to fucking touch it. CBDCs are a terrible idea. They actually work against the banking system. The banking system survives through fractional reserve lending and abstractions of value. And CBDCs actually constrains their ability to abstract value, because a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, should be relatively, now I'm going to use some words here, relatively non-fungible. And so it's fascinating that we've oscillated up and down with governments of saying, hey, we want to get in CBDC, we're central bank digital currencies. This is an important thing. Oh, China's doing this. Oh, America's doing this. But at the end of the day, and this is something that I've been trumpeting, is that CBDCs are not going to be that helpful. And the reason is because it actually works against the financial system for them to abstract more value out of money, essentially, right? I mean, what is the stock exchange today? What it is, merely digital abstractions of value. You don't actually trade the underlying asset. You trade a pink slip of an abstraction of an ETF in an ETC. And so you're not actually trading the underlying asset. You're merely trading an asset or an abstraction of that asset or a pink slip. And so what do banks want to do? They want to create 9 levels of abstraction from the core principle. CBDCs don't allow you to do that. And so we're probably going to see, Paul, or sorry, David, what we're probably going to see, David, in the next couple of years is an oscillation of, yes, let's get into CBDCs. Oh, they're not really that valuable. Oh, the banking sector now has an issue because it's not going to be valuable for them. And so we're going to see this interesting tension, I believe, in the next couple of years between governments and banking and financial institutions, because they're going to start butting heads. The governments want control. Yes. That's what they want. They want control. That's why CBDCs are so powerful, because if we can get everyone on one payment rails, then we can have absolute oversight of everything that's going on. That's what government wants. The banking wants control, but banking doesn't want control as less important than money making. So banking prioritizes money making over control. And so you're going to have this interesting tension, I think, in the next couple of years, because CBDCs are not a viable way to scale monetary policy across a people group.
So David expanded saying, so if our government does it, it's a scam to imply negative interest rates.
Negative interest rates are all, it's all a scam, bro. It's all a scam. The pinching and the expansion of the money supply is all optics. What they really are is they're lagging indicators to what the institutional investors, the institutional policymakers are already doing, right? So, I mean, do you think the policymakers and the the financial huge institutions with billions of dollars under asset management, do you think they're waiting? They're waiting for policy, but don't you think they have their sticky fingers in the know ahead of time, right? Whenever you hear quantitative tightening or whenever you hear these types of things, the money flows have already moved or moving now, and you're already too late, right? If it came out, if you watched it on the 9 o'clock morning news on CNBC that they're doing quantitative tightening, you already lost. You already lost out. The money's flows have already moved towards that direction. And so, sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's a good point. And for example, China is doing the CBDC move itself, but they're coming from a completely different perspective. It's a centralized control. So CBDCs will give you full control of your monetary, to the point, because it's centralized, they can actually change the smart contract to where they yank your store of value from wherever it is.
I'm looking forward to this battle royale, David. I truly am, because governments want control, but banks want to make money, and banks will not forfeit money making just so the government can have more control. Remember, the governments are actually ruled by the banks and the financial institutions. So there's a mommy daddy thing going on there.
See, I love that PeterBot looks at the huge overall implications of it all, the universal impact, which he does better than anybody, in my opinion. But I am of the camp where if you really narrow in, David, talking about the government's intervene, I think if the government gets anything regulated in the very near future, it will be a stable coin. I do think that there is some incentive for the government to try and regulate a stable coin, especially before the next US election. If that happens on that very narrow, time frame here, I think you better get ready to put your rocket ships on that Bitcoin pack. I really do. I think it's going to explode the second government regulates a stable coin, because now all your big institutions can come in and justify buying it. They're already buying it. We know that. But now they can publicly, within regulatory language, I can publicly say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm buying the heck out of that beat. I'm putting it in pensions. I'm putting it in 401ks. I'm putting it in IRAs. I'm putting it everywhere. And I think Bitcoin will explode. But everything Peter's talking about, the big universal impact, he's dead on. He's dead on.
The good news, they can follow Tether's lead. print the shit out of it with no backing. So nothing will change.
Yeah. So that's a great question, David. Lots of implications. It's so exciting to be able to talk about all this.
Absolutely. Thank you, David. And thank you everyone for participating. Now,
Absolutely.
a little community service release we have that came out is millions of iPhone users warned by federal agency.
Blow that sucker up.
Yes, ma'am. Here we go.
There we go. Boom.
There you go.
Boom.
Millions of iPhone users warned by federal agency to change settings immediately. I checked last night when I came across this, and sure enough, I was not updated. What is this update? Or what's the implications? Well, one, macOS on Monterey should be at these numbers. So check your phone. If you're watching us, you can wait until the stream is over. But you can look at this, what the impact is. It's commercial spyware companies such as Israel's NSO group are known for identifying and taking advantage of such flaws, exploiting them in malware that surreptitiously infects targets' smartphones, siphons their contents, and surveils the targets in real time. So NSO Group has been blacklisted by the U.S. Commerce Department. Its spyware is known to have been used in Europe, Middle East, Africa, Latin America against journalists, dissidents, and human rights activists. So it's extremely important to update your iPhone. But this brings us into a very important subject. I've been hacked. I know Peter's been hacked. We've all had our own personal phones hacked. We were forced, thank God I didn't get wiped out, but a lesson learned here is to have your own wallets elsewhere. Do not have a wallet here. But what is this wallet? Let's expand into this. And Tamp, you can take.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can. I think this is a topic that we should talk about tomorrow in its own stream, because this is a big deal. I think it's important everybody updates the software on their cellular device immediately.
All devices.
Definitely. Yeah, all of it. Cellular, iPad, laptops, everything. Update it, and then let's have a conversation tomorrow about why this is important, because there's all kind of different wallets out there that this update will help protect marginally, but still protect what you can protect. So update that, and then let's have a wallet discussion tomorrow.
I think that's a great idea. I think that's a wonderful idea to focus on wallets tomorrow.
Fist of five.
Fist of five.
Let's do it. But in the meantime, update right now, because it could get scary out there.
I think with this, I think the what we can extract from this and the lesson that we can learn here is that not only, especially for us in the cryptocurrency world, do we have to stay up to date with the bleeding edge of regulation, policy changes, because we're all operators here. Sometimes some people might show up to this live stream and say, okay, we've got a bunch of chuckleheads here sitting not talking. No, guys, we are professionals. We are professional Bitcoin miners from China. No, don't.
I thought you were kimchi. That was kimchi, bro.
All that super info we know. We know all these things.
We are professional Bitcoin miner people. Please think of the professional people. So we actually need to be on the bleeding edge of technology, regulation, changes in policy, changes in infrastructure. Like, we are on the bleeding edge of that. We have to be as operators, because we're building Bitcoin mining facility. We're scaling Bitcoin mining. We're scaling software on top of this. But what this harkens to, and it should be really important for everyone out there, is you should be on the bleeding edge of technology. Why? Because this shit is happening. Frankly speaking, I'm so busy sometimes that I don't know when security flaws are happening. And when Jaime posted this article from Zero Hedge, I immediately went to all my devices. I pinged my wife and I was like, I'm behind the 8 ball. Like, I should have known this, I know it just came out yesterday or the day before or whatever. But we now live in a world, everyone out there, where being in tune with what's happening from a technological standpoint is so important for your safety. And so what I love about DCTV, and here's my point, here's kind of a hat tip to us. What I love about DCTV is we want to bring those considerations and those news bits to you guys, so that you're not stuck behind the 8 ball and you're not missing out not only on Bitcoin and the opportunity to dollar cost average and these types of things, but we want to help you grow and learn about how to be safe online. It's not just have to deal with cryptocurrency. And so I love that DCTV is picking up this slack. And it's just a hat tip to you guys to that you guys are bringing this out to the public. I think it's important that people know about these types of things, because crypto is involved. If your iPhone or Android gets hacked, you could lose your value, which is why next week we're going to be talking about wallet safety.
Now let's talk about the wallets. What type of wallets are there? Because you're going to start hearing hot wallet, warm wallet, cold wallet, just the overall basics. What is a cold wallet, Tam?
Well, I mean, we can we'll dive into all this tomorrow.
Okay, we will. Okay,
let's dive into all this tomorrow.
Okay, let's move on.
Sorry, squirrel.
Sorry.
We're good.
Beautiful. So now, how do we get engaged? I can hear myself echo. Let me see if I can reduce this slightly, and there should be less echo. Yes. By the way, Brad Smith, I hope you're enjoying your time there. Thanks for teaching us all this stuff. We'll get going. But one of the things that Decentralized TV brought to me personally was the fact of discovering dollar cost averaging, witnessing also when we were hacked. I actually witnessed Peter's moments when he went through this. So what we're doing here, we're building through Decentralized TV, resurrecting it. It never died really, but bringing it back to the forefront of our communication channel, because so many understand Decentralized as the source of the latest and greatest in terms of security, crypto, finance 101. And that's what we will continue focused on. To reach us, the central point you can reach us is if you go to the Metafy, themetafy.co. Let me post it on
throw that up in the comments.
Yes, ma'am.
Themetafy.co. This will get you everywhere. This will get you to all of our socials. We have Discord, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, name it. Platforms coming out of every orifice. So come here. You'll get everything.
Beautiful. And by the way, from Puerto Rico, we
On the chaos.
Puerto
Rico. Oh,
send photos, buddy.
Oh, always good to see you, brother. Always good to see you, man.
So when you come to Metafy, of course, subscribe to the newsletter. Here's how we'll keep you posted ongoing. There's 2 links, very important links. If you scroll down slightly, we'll get Matt, our top developer, to get this easier to reach. If you scroll down slightly, you'll see this bar up here at the top. This is our portal to all our socials. So when you click on it, you see absolutely everywhere we're at. So if there's any preferred methodology that you'd like to see or communicate with us, just choose it and communicate. Where all our conversations are located are down here in Discord. This will take you into our Discord where we're actively posting our announcements, and you will see most of us. We internally work through Discord in our communications, and with our community, it's quite easy. And by the way, On the Chaos replied, "Hey, yo, great show." And of course, David, who also came to us through On the Chaos, B. Smith late, but didn't miss. So perfect. Any other means, please reach out to us in Discord. We want your input. So we are developing the staking wallet coming up, and we'll go into further detail. We want your input. Please get engaged. There's a lot of builders in Decentralized TV. Engage us. Put ideas down. One of the polls we're looking at, that Greg brought up, which is amazing, is if you could build a wallet, or all of us have wallets, especially the OGs. We've worked with wallets. What would you build differently? Where would you put your focus in? Come into Discord, discuss it. We'll bring those subjects in and we will co-build. Peter brought up a subject on co-building, and that's literally the best and only way we will ever be able to build this community in crypto. Crypto is decentralized by nature, but it's all united by Bitcoin in this case, or whatever the protocol is on top of that decentralization. Our protocol is prosperity for all. This is our mission, and the only way to accomplish it is if you co-build with us. Please join the conversation. Join us. Let's get going, guys.
Absolutely. We'll see you guys in Discord, and make sure you go to themetafy.co. Sign up for our newsletter. We have events coming up. We got swag coming up. We have behind the scenes stuff coming up, and we have actual tooling and products that we are co-building with the community. It has been a pleasure. Always good to hang out with you guys in the morning.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter's
Wallet talk tomorrow.
Take care, guys. I love this.
Yay! Nancy Pelosi clap.